Hello again. The other day, somebody commenting here expressed surprise that I've been published in the mainstream media. Perhaps I have not mentioned before that at one time I made something of a living in the field of journalism. That sounds grander and more pretentious than I meant it to. What I meant to convey was that I used to write a lot for many trashy magazines and also had pieces published in more respectable outlets such as the Times Educational Supplement, Daily Telegraph and so on. At one time I had my own regular column in True Detective magazine, which some viewers have perhaps seen in their local newsagents. I used to write a lot about gruesome murders and executions. This led in time to other work, for example a couple of books on the death penalty and also working as a consultant for television programmes like Grantchester. I did a lot of stuff too for a magazine called Prediction, which specialised in all matters occult and supernatural. This was all in the days when manuscripts had to be sent physically through the post to these various publications, of course, and times have changed a lot since then. I hardly ever write for the newspapers these days, not least because my reputation is such that it would frighten off many of them. Writing is one of those skills which can always be adapted to changing fashions, though. It's a bit like being a carpenter. Once you can make a chair from wood, you're then able to produce such things in various styles, according to the taste of customers. Or if the bottom fell out of the market for chairs, you could always knock out other stuff like tables or cupboards, for instance. That's how it is with writing. The styles needed for a website, or indeed a channel like this one, are very different from what might be expected in an academic book or, say, a column in an upmarket newspaper. However, once you have the grasp of the idea of using properly constructed sentences and stringing them together coherently into paragraphs, then you should be okay anyway, wherever you choose to market your wares. I will freely admit, and this probably will not come as a surprise to many viewers, I am not a very good writer. Certainly not when judged by any literary standards, at any rate. I do have a talent, though, that has helped me immeasurably in the field, but it has nothing to do with writing per se. Although a fairly mediocre author, I possess the ability to deal with editors and publishers. This counts for far more than any skill in using such esoteric things as fronted adverbials, about which every primary school pupil is now taught, and of which I have not the least understanding. My particular talent lies in the ability to deliver a manuscript of any required length at any given time and never arguing with an editor. This sounds pretty basic, but you'd be surprised how many writers are unable to follow such basic principles. They're constantly late with delivering things, whether a book or a piece for a magazine. This screws everything up for everybody, of course. Then again, all too many of them are precious about their work and argue when they see how it has been edited. A lot of them have to have their hands held, like children, who are always ringing up their editors, whether at a newspaper or publisher, to pour out their troubles about writer's block or some nonsense of that kind. My guiding star is this. Editors are frantically busy and they don't care at all about me or my life. All they want is the manuscript they ordered. It does not matter if this is a 100,000 word academic book or a 1,500 word piece on unicorns for the lady. And yes, that is a real example. I used to write quite a bit for the lady at one time. If you can always deliver the goods and never argue or contact editors with complaints, then they will overlook poor writing. For editors, just as for authors, this is a commercial enterprise. So it is that I still manage to scrape something of a living out of writing. I'm not, nor will I ever be, I fear, rich and famous, but then I don't especially want to be either. I just want enough to pay my bills and put food on the table. For somebody with such modest requirements, there have always been openings in the literary world. In the description to this video, I give links to two pieces of mine, one that was published yesterday and another that was I did about 10 years ago, which was for the Express, but is essentially an advertisement for a book of mine. So I wrote the book, was paid for that, and then I was paid by the Daily Express to write what was essentially an advertisement for the book, which some of you might think is a little bit cheeky, but there.